disasters loom and storms threaten, the United States turns to none other than the hurricane hunters. These men and women brave the deadly winds in order to provide accurate forecasting to know when and where a storm will strike. Weather reconnaissance has a long history. Tracking and reporting a storm's heading has been a key part of ocean travel for centuries. Ship-based systems remain the primary method of reporting and tracking these storms until 1935, when the Labor Day hurricane was lost track of off the coast of Cuba. It was only located again by a Pan American Airlines flight. To help accurately track the storm, the Army Air Corps Chief Training Pilot, Captain Pavi, took off to track it. He was able to determine it was headed towards the Florida Keys, however, it was too late to warn anyone before the storm hit. The resulting destruction led the captain to recommend the formation of a permanent hurricane patrol. In 1944, he got his wish. Formed at Presque Isle Army Airfield, Maine, the 3rd Weather Reconnaissance Squadron flew its first storm tracking mission in retrofitted B-25 bombers. They flew along ferry routes and tracked storms by dropping sonar buoys ahead of them. In 1946, the 3rd WRS was rechristened the Hurricane Hunters. That year, they also upgraded to the more advanced WB-29 Superfortresses, a variant of the plane that dropped the atomic bomb. The WB-29's smooth aerodynamic shape and pressurized cabin allowed it to safely penetrate into the storm itself. The Hurricane Hunter's first mission into a storm took place on October 17, 1947, when a WB-29 entered Hurricane Love off the coast of Bermuda. In 1965, the Hurricane Hunters were redesignated as the 53rd Weather Reconnaissance Squadron. They then adopted the WC-130 aircraft as their new tracking plane. The modular nature of the WC-130 meant that it could carry a variety of instruments and the crew could upgrade it as necessary. Since 1965, the Hurricane Hunters have been deployed all over the world and have undertaken many storm tracking and scientific research missions. The Hurricane Hunters coordinate their missions with the National Hurricane Center. The NHC identifies tropical disturbances for the hunters to investigate and monitors the data collected from the aircraft. Upon reaching the disturbance, the hunters determine if it has winds blowing in a counterclockwise rotation. This tells the crew if the storm has the potential to develop into a hurricane. Once rotation has been identified, the Hurricane Hunters begin fixing operations. In this stage, the aircraft penetrate the eye wall of the storm. The aircraft measure the radar representation, take temperature and pressure readings by using dropson buoys, and by mapping the wind fields of the storm. On these missions, the storms are typically penetrated up to 4 times, and they can take up to 8 hours to complete. These missions are repeated every 6 hours until the storm reaches landfall to ensure accuracy. The 53rd WRS serves an important role in storm tracking and disaster mitigation. However, as a non-combat branch of the Air Force, it is often seen as unnecessary, and as a result, when the budget is tight, it is one of the first items on the chopping block. However, the program always seems to come back. After being shut down in 1991, it was reactivated in 1993 following Hurricane Andrew. Though satellites can track storms from space, they cannot gather the accurate readings of wind speed and pressure that an aircraft can, which means the Hurricane Hunters will have a role to play for years to come.